Hello and welcome to Las Blancas Podcast.
Welcome back to another episode of Las Blancas. We are back with the first episode of the regular season. Basically, we have recorded before, but those were pre-season games. So we are starting off with the new season, our first game in the league against Logroño, a newly promoted side. And we had set all the expectations, of us trying to go for the league, trying to win
We'll
our
never
first
speak again.
trophy, and all of that came crushing down in just one game after Logroño drew 2-2 against us in our opening game. And to be honest, like with the way we played, we should have probably lost that game. But quite happy that we did not lose our opening game. So we'll talk about all of that. We'll talk about what went wrong, and honestly, a lot went wrong in that game. Right from the get-go, the approach, the problems in the build-up, the substitutions. Uh, it seemed like we had taken a step back, which is quite shocking to say the least. And full credits to Logroño. Like they came out, they scored two absolute brilliant goals. Can't do much about them, but with the way we played, I think we deserve just nothing more than 1 point from this. So we'll do all of that, and to do that, as always, I've got Kanita with me. Kanita, how you doing after that opening day draw?
Annoyed. I'm annoyed. I mean, as you said, we could have lost that game. We had chances to lose.
Yeah,
Let's just say that, man. It was a game. It was a game for sure. It was a football match. That I don't really. I watched it. I rewatched it. I don't ever want to. See something like that again. And I think that the entire fan base was unified in the elements of the game. And I mean, from the get go, from the lineup sheet to the actual gameplay and the lack of, well, things which we'll talk about. It's just bad. And I didn't expect to lose points against Logroño, not against a newly promoted side on the first match day. I know we have a new coach, but yeah, you don't do this. You just don't do this, especially with that lineup. You just don't.
yeah, and honestly, like it matters more in the sense that, we are in a league competing against a side that rarely loses a game,
Yeah.
right? Like after so many years in existence, last year was the first time we managed to get a win over them. So it's not like, the games between the two sides are like very closely contested or anything like that. It has been a one-way affair for a very long time until our previous meeting. So the odds are not in our favor. And if we lose against or if we drop points against a newly promoted side, we are not doing ourselves any favors at all. Which, in all honesty, this we might be out of the title race right off the bat, like right after
Yeah.
game one, because we still have to face Atletico Madrid. We still have to face Madrid CFF, which is always a chaotic game. We still have to face, we are always probably good against Real Sociedad. We have been good against them, but who knows what Arturo Ruiz has got cooking there this season. Plus, we have the likes of Tenerife away, which is always difficult. So, it's not an easy season. As much as you would like to think that this won't matter, it actually will, and it will matter a lot. I feel these 2 points are going to be quite a dent right from the get-go. And for a team's confidence as well, this doesn't bode well. So let's see. I mean, next up we have Atleti. So we'll see how that changes. But let's get our focus back to this game and talk about the lineups. We saw the same thing against Bayern, and it was a preseason game, and you're like, okay, fine, experimentation in in a preseason game is perfectly fine. I totally support it. You should experiment. You should learn about your squads, about what systems you can play and everything. But once the preseason ends, you have to sort of have an idea about what you're trying to do and what the squad has on offer. So we started with a 4-4-3-3 sort of lineup. I would say it wasn't really a 4-2-3-1 that we have seen under Toril. And that 4-3-3 had, I'll quickly go through it. Froms was starting as our goalkeeper. Sheila Garcia as the right back, Maile Lacrar and Maria Mendes as our two centre back pairings, Sarah Hongard starting as the left back. In midfield, we had Irune Angeldal and Caroline Weir, and our front three consisted of Linda Caicedo, Athenea as the number 9, and Eva Navarro. So, a couple of things like defense, okay, fine, perfectly fine choice of players. Midfield as well, you go like, okay, you know, could we have played Toletti? Yeah, sure, could have played her from the start, but the manager has sort of insisted on playing Irune and Angeldal as that double pivot sort of role, and giving Weir a free role in the team, and that's fine as well with me. But the front line of Linda, Athenea, and Eva Navarro just seems pointless. You know, you are playing against a Logroño side that is going to play a back five, and they did play a back five. At times, it was a 5-3-2 or even a 5-4-1 at times. You are trying this weird false nine stuff without even establishing your basics or ground rules of your team under possession seems just very naive to me. Like it's like reaching for the stars, or like after you learn your first lesson about the solar system, you instantly are reading up on ideas about astrophysics or something. Like it doesn't make sense. It's this squad is not built for that. We don't have and if you want to, it has to be Caroline Weir. It can't be Athenia. She cannot interpret that role, and we clearly saw that right from the get-go. She was occupying the same zones as Linda Caicedo was for large parts. Then when she started playing centrally, she does not have the hold-up play to facilitate that. So I don't know. I'll take your thoughts because I also have thoughts about the decision on the right hand side, because he clearly favors Eva Navarro to play on the right, which is fine by me. But I think senior Bruun should be a no-brainer in this team. What were your thoughts when you saw the lineup, Kanita?
I was like the same as pretty much everyone else. Why is Athenea being false nine here? Why even bring a false nine into the question? Like why? I don't know. You have two perfectly good strikers on the bench. And as you said, the team is not built for this. And it didn't work. It's did far from worked against Bayern. So I don't know why would you try this experiment in a season game, when the season officially started, and to try this. I don't know, like from the beginning you could see our defenders doing the long balls and the crosses, I mean from home guard and from Mendes, her, and then like they were going nowhere because there was no reference in the box, and you had Signe Brun, but on the bench because he didn't want to put her on. And yeah, the whole right hand side for me wasn't uh, cohesive. I think mostly because well, it's with the side that the midfielders took. I think that they would have done better if Angeldal was on the right side, especially with Shay when she plays. But I just think they misread Irune all the time. Irune was trying something to build something up with the right hand side. She's young and she is a defensive midfielder, but whenever she was trying to do something, they just misread her. She was trying to do the some combinations, just none of it happened. Even the player would even go way far up, or or just stay at the same place, and while the ball would go up. And I'm not really sure what that was. But Iruna, my first, like, on her own, was decent. It just, the idea, I don't think that there was anything with that. Also, wasn't cohesive with Angeldor, because they were all the time far apart. It was like that Iruna was filling up the holes in the midfield, while we'll get to when Toletti was in, it was a whole different story. But it's also two different, very different players, obviously. So yeah, definitely ideas. I don't know if there was an idea. I don't know if it was a collection of different ideas that just weren't cohesive together. So yeah, I guess that's it.
Uh, yeah, I mean, you mentioned the fact that we saw Sarah Holmgart put in some brilliant crosses in the preseason against Union Berlin, and I thought that was the blueprint, you know, because we have seen that combination work for Denmark. We have been excited about seeing that combination at Real Madrid, and you finally have a chance. You finally have a brilliant crosser. You finally have a uh, an excellent player in the air, and you are playing against a side that is going to defend deep and that is going to sit in a rigid block through which playing through which is very difficult, right? Like you cannot play through a block of 5-4. It's very difficult. There is not enough space. There is not enough space in behind. There's not enough space in between to do that. And a lot of the times when teams play against sides with a block like that, they usually go around them, right? Like they go wide and they try to cross the ball in and score goals like that. And we have a very adept aerial threat on the bench in Bruun, and you're starting your your game with a player who is not comfortable playing that false nine role, who doesn't understand the mechanics of it, doesn't know when to drop, where to drop, which zones to occupy, how to bait the center backs, and she has this preference to play through the left. And we saw that time and time again, she was drifting towards the left hand side, occupying the same exact zones as Linda Caicedo. Uh, in the past network that I shared immediately after our game, you can clearly see that Linda Caicedo and Athenea occupying the same sort of zones, and we have a big gulf in the middle because we have no reference to play around of in the center, and that is not how it should be. And this was one thing, like initially, right from the get-go, the lineup felt wrong, especially when you have spent all these years sort of trying to build striker depth. Then you don't play your primary striker and you have turned your secondary striker into this number 10 player. Redondo now, same thing Toril did. Redondo became an attacking midfielder whenever she got on the pitch. She was never a striker. And now the same thing we are seeing here. Like, so you have two great strikers, you bench one, and the other one isn't even considered a striker by the manager, which is very foolish. Like, these are players who can score 15 plus 20 plus goals on their own. They have to be playing. They can't score goals from the bench. And you have to keep them in. It's not like they are net negatives or anything, like they are the problems or anything. Like, you have to make a choice between one of your wingers. If you prefer Eva Navarro, fine, bench Athenea. It's okay. Athenea can come off the bench, and she has shown in the past for Spain as well that when she comes off the bench, she has this little zest about her that uh, allows her to get those goals and assists and rake up those numbers against tired legs. And maybe that is the trick for us as well. You prefer Eva Navarro, start Eva Navarro, bring on Athenia from the bench, but Bruun has to play. There is no other option. Moving on, like, once you are like, okay, fine, there is enough quality on the pitch to beat a newly promoted side in Logroño. You you let go of that. You give him some space to sort of okay, fine, whatever. Like, we have enough quality to beat them still. Then you look at the build up, which for me was the most the worst part about this game, honestly, like our build-up was really bad, like really, really bad. It was so bad that Caroline Weir was given a free role. Instead of roaming around in the opposition half, she had to drop all the way to the center back to receive the ball and sort of move it forwards. Because, and I'll go in detail in this, but I'll quickly give it to you because I can go on a rant here, which I don't want to. So I'll quickly give it to you and take your thoughts first. What did you make of that build up, that line of two between Irune and Angeldor? Do you think it's working? Do you think it's worth trying in the next game? Because next up we have Atleti. What are your thoughts on that?
I think um so I've already mentioned that um the two Angeldal and Irune made like were too far apart from each other at all times. It was like Irune was literally filling in the holes, which by the way worked well for Logroño because they were also isolating them. You could see like whenever we got the ball in the middle of the pitch, whenever like whichever player had it there, they would go for the ball. They were pressing immediately as soon as the ball was in the middle because it was never like this I don't know, like controlled area in the midfield. It was always like our midfielder trying to find someone there. And as you said, as you mentioned, we're stepping back sometimes, and she had to intervene, but they would still isolate one of the two. Whichever side we were on, we would never like switch to one side because when Toletti went on, we you would see like clear like leading the action on one side. Like, if we're going for through the left side, we're going through the left side, and she's there as well with Angeldal. She's directing the play. However, we're not seeing this cohesiveness with Irune and Angeldal. They're just on their own. And honestly, they're pressed by Isina and Paula Partido, who is, by the way, our uh, ex-player, and I'm very, very aware of what who Paula Partido is, and she ran riot in this game. She was recovering, she was pressing and helping her teammates and recovering like all the time and in the overturns and everything. And we made it easier for them. They they really like that. That they isolated our midfielder as well, and however good Iruna is in ball control, she is good in shielding and everything. Like she dares a lot of things. It's just like when you isolate a player, especially when a young player, you just stop. There's no build up, and sometimes I could see her reading sometimes while she was trying to get the ball moving, like I don't know, like she would let Shay go further up, and she would go a bit back and just act as a defender there to just try to get the ball there, but never actually moved anything. Like, I don't know, like no one read her in those moments, and I don't know why. I'm not really sure why. It's just that when everyone is talking about Weir's bad game, that she had a bad game, she was just doing something that she usually doesn't have to, you know. And we weren't seeing Angeldal going up, attacking like she doesn't, and helping in the attack, which was very weird. But and it was so lost. Everything was so lost. I don't even know how to explain it like in more technical terms.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. I'll start with the build up. We were building with a line of two in midfield, Angeldal and Irune. The thing that a lot of people don't really appreciate when you're building with two midfielders is the fact that they have to be in different lines. They can't be in the same horizontal line. They have to be staggered, so to speak. Because only then you will be able to progress the ball. Because if they are not staggered, if they are operating in the same lines, if they pass to each other, the ball is still there. The ball hasn't moved upfield at all. And that is what was happening, which made it very easier for Logroño to, stop our progression, because our fullbacks were pushing high, which is what you want. But then our two center backs and our two midfielders were operating in parallel lines, in exactly the same sort of lines, which doesn't help progression at all. And that is why we had to come down to, even out those. Because if you see, you mentioned Logroño pressing with two, right? AC and Paula Partido. What they did was they just had to screen them, and it's over, because there is no other option. If we decide to go wide, it becomes easier for Logroño to, then press and recover the ball on the flanks. And through the middle, we don't have any options, because both the midfielders are moving in the same direction, always operating on the same lines, and our center backs could not find them. None of them were dynamic enough to, sort of switch position based on the position of the other midfielder and try to progress the ball. And that absolutely killed our progression. We just could not progress. The first goal, if you look at it, as well, it came from Irune giving up the ball, because once Irune receives the ball, she looks around. There is nobody to pass the ball forward to. She either has to go back. That is the only option. She doesn't have any option already, or like ready made for her to, receive as her next option. She receives, and then she has to look around to find that vertical passing option, because there isn't any. And that resulted in the turnover, that resulted in that goal, that absolutely killed our progression. And the complaints about we are having a bad game, I mean, fair. She missed a few chances as well, which she scores. Uh, but apart from that, if your most creative player, if your best goal scorer probably and best chance creator has to come to your box to receive the ball, then you are not helping their case at all. Fine, like, does Weir deserve a little bit of criticism? Yeah, fine, yeah, absolutely. Maybe she could have scored one of those chances, and maybe we wouldn't be talking about this game like the way we are. But that did not happen, and that is what result oriented, analysis can sometimes get. Even if she would have scored those chances, these problems would still exist, and we would be talking about these, because that is what was the biggest issue in this game, right? And it did not help us. It did not help any of the players on the pitch. So yeah, I mean, I don't think Irune and Angeldal should start together, because clearly they don't have that synergy. And Irune is very young. If she has a few more games like this, it's difficult, because sometimes when you're young, you lose that confidence. It becomes very difficult to, recover that. So you have to try to protect her and give her the best sort of platform to be able to succeed. And we have experienced midfielders. It's not like we don't have. We have Toletti sitting, we have Sara Debret sitting on the bench, right? And we spoke about the availability around Sara Debritz and how much she can contribute this season, but we'll see about that. But Toletti is there. Toletti is right there. Toletti and Angeldal have played together last season. Toletti and Angeldal were our primary, double pivot options. They understand. They have that innate understanding, and especially Toletti. Even if Angeldal is failing on that part, Toletti is one of the most dynamic midfielders we have. Like, she understands where everyone else is, and she takes up those positions that she needs to, so that there is always a vertical passing option. She speeds up play, she slows down the play. And it was only after she came on that we started to play slightly better, I would say. But by that time, Logroño were already a goal ahead, or like, and stuff like that. So they did not have the initiative to, break out of their uh, shape and try to attack. So the game was already uh, not in a favorable state for us, because they would have taken a draw, absolutely. So as soon as it went 1-1, they were like, fine, we'll take this. We don't want to score again. And that is kudos to them. This, like, I can go on about this for hours, but we'll see what happens in the athletic game if these issues still persist. But yeah, our build-up needs to be fixed because that just makes us an easy target for the opponents, which, given the fact that there's a Champions League qualification coming, we have struggled with this lineup against Bayern. We have struggled with this lineup against a newly promoted side. If he plans to stick with this, it's very reactionary to say, but we might have taken a step back from Toril, which is like he was at least putting the players on the pitch that could do that could do justice to the rules. So we will see about it. It's too early, it's too reactionary, but also like we can be out of the Champions League if we play like this against Eintracht because they have great attackers, even though they don't have good defenders at the moment. They have lost a lot of their defensive spine, but their attackers are still good. And if we build like this, it's not gonna be easy. We have Atletico Madrid next. If we build like this, it's not gonna be easy. So, not good signs to start off the season. Um, but yeah, the other thing that I would like to talk about is our substitutions. Our substitutions seemed premeditated. Like we have seen these exact set of substitutions in the preseason as well, wherein you're changing quite a bit of your lineup at halftime. But bringing on Yasmin for Sarah did not make sense. Sarah was not having a bad game, in my opinion. Senior Bruun had to come on. So, that one, why did it not happen right at halftime? I'm not sure. Sandy Toletti was fine. But then again, bringing on Paula Comendador, I understand like she is a very talented player, one of the very best coming through our ranks, has done well for the youth teams, but you have Sarah Debritz on the bench, you know, a player that you have signed this summer, a player with a lot of experience, a player that can score and create chances. And then if not in this situation, if you are trusting, like it's completely fine. Like it's credits to Comendador to have gained that trust so quickly that she is being. But then why did you sign Debritz? What other situation did you sign Debritz for? I don't get it. She could have come on, maybe not playing as you can play her in midfield. Maybe you take off uh, maybe you take off Angeldal as well. You play Toretti and Debritz as the midfield who are dynamic and sort of creative enough up front. Why not that? Why bring on Yasmin and waste one of your substitutions replacing a player that isn't even a problem? I don't get it. Like it wasn't a situational sort of change because bringing on Yasmin does not make sense in that situation. Sarah was doing just fine, and with Bruun on the pitch, you want Sarah there. Honestly, you want Sarah there because it just takes one good cross. It takes one good cross, and you take off Sarah there. So I don't get it. Like I feel she is. I feel our manager is sort of still trying to understand his squad, which is fine, but as you need to at least win. I get it that you won't get your squad under your belt or like every player perfectly nailed down, but you can't do that. Um, you can't do that at the cost of dropping points against newly promoted sides. That is not it. So yeah, what did you think of the substitutions, Kanita?
I think most confusing one was the Yasmin substitution. I was like, what did Sarah even do to deserve this? Like I was so shocked. Like that was such an unnecessary sub. I mean, you just wasted it. And I think that everyone was shocked. There were no subs at halftime, because we desperately needed a change. Nothing was working. It was such bad football in the first 45 minutes. And I was like, yeah, we're definitely getting a change in the midfield at least, or maybe he'll bring on Bruun. Like Bruun was the obvious choice there, but now,
Yeah.
uh, why were we waiting until 58th minute? We are almost 15 minutes in, and we make our first sub when nothing was working. I mean, I don't know. Like, and I mean, Paulo Comendador sub. I mean, I want I won't think the same as you. I think the same as you, but it was just bringing her on. It's put. Well, I mean, she went on the left side and then put Linda on the right side and was like, I don't know, like at times switching and I don't know, kind of created some chaos there when Toletti was trying to go through the left side, smoothly and trying to build it up with Angeldal there, and Linda was doing well there, combining with those two. But I just don't know. Like, obviously, I love to see Paula Comendador play. All that stands. It was just I don't know. I like you said premeditated. Just didn't understand the need for the last two subs, honestly. And for some reason, if you just started one striker, one of the two strikers, you could have easily subbed off one for the other in the second half if you wanted both Redondo and Bruun to play. This way, one will act as a 10, one will drop back, and in this case, it was Redondo. And I don't know what is this with Redondo playing that role in this team. I have no idea. She's a striker. Just use her that. But yeah, honestly, these experiments go should start when you're already leading in a game. You start with a lineup that works, that has proven throughout the years. You have a template from last season, use it. What works when you're like 3-0 up, then you can do whatever your heart desires with the experiments. Honestly, when it comes to the newly promoted side, obviously, obviously this is a team that hasn't played in the first division for 4 years. They were we played them in our first season, and then they were relegated. So this was also a team that you don't know. That you don't really know how they play, so do you have to get to know the team because these like let's say the lower table sides, they can be very tricky. We saw Eibar. They have been in the first division for a longer time, but boy, do they know how to defend. And you have to get to know your um, opponents before experimenting from the start. And obviously, the substitutions on their own will be also sketchy. There were a lot of whys there, but I just hope that this doesn't last for long. And like you said in the beginning of the pod, you said may not qualify for the Champions League at this point. Some people were already saying like congrats Eintracht for uh, the qualification. I sincerely hope this doesn't happen. I mean, we're playing them in like less than a week. Well, like in a week. It's just I don't know. Like anything can happen. We have some very interesting games this month, but please stop the experiments. Stop the experiments.
Yeah, and I was pretty happy with the draw, honestly, because if you want to face Eintracht at any time, I think this was the right because they've lost a lot of their defensive spine. Like I mentioned, Kleinherne is not there, Tanya Pavlik is not there anymore. They've lost their goalkeeper as well. Carlota Wamser is not there anymore. So they have lost quite a few players, and you would want to take them on right now more than anything. And it, if you ask me now, it looks a little more difficult. But yeah, one more thing about Paula Comendador is that a lot of people think that she's a striker. I don't think so. I think for the youth teams as well, she plays more like an inside forward, starting from the wide position, but she always comes narrow and always comes inside, more of like that Ronaldo playing the left wing sort of roles. Like she would start on the left, but she would always take up a more narrower, a more central, occupy those more central areas when she's playing. So, in essence, we had three players on the pitch who, quote unquote, can play that role through the middle. You had Bruun, Redondo, and Paula Partido as well. So, it's I don't know what goes on with Pau Quesada. We'll see. It's just one game. It's just one official game, but it's 2 points dropped too many. I feel already because you don't drop points against newly promoted side in the first game when your rival has thrashed the other promoted side 8-0 just a day before, and your other or your cross city rivals have thrashed their opponents 5-0. So it's you haven't put yourself in the best spot right now. And next up, as I mentioned, we have Atleti, so it's going to be tricky. But yeah, before we wrap this episode up, I think we should talk about a little bit about Paula Partido. I think she was spectacular in that game. You already spoke about her, Kanita. I'd just like to add a couple of my thoughts as well. The way she was defending, the way she was carrying the ball in transition, helping her side get that breathing space, win those fouls while carrying the ball. It was a very mature performance from her, and it's good. We have seen her play for our team as well. We have seen her play alongside Carla Camacho, two of our previous academy products who made it to the first team. And she is this byline attacking winger who always loves to run on the outside, and she did that very, very well. Her ball carries were really good, and her defensive work rate was quite good. Like she was helping out at the back, closing down spaces, winning the ball, and then running with it. Just a brilliant performance from her. I feel. If you want to add anything, you can, or we can wrap this up.
Oh, I just want to add there's a novelty in Liga F this season. We have VAR kind of budget thing.
Uh,
And it was so funny to see the ref review every goal with such detail. But they are supposed to do that. They review every goal. They go to the VAR to review it. That's basically the point. But it was so funny, like to see the comments on Twitter talking about, oh, why are they reviewing so much? And it was it was a bit funny at some point. But yeah, it's what they're supposed to do. So budget friendly VAR in Liga F, and I mean I think this is good. At least something we have something with VAR now. And yeah, I mean I'm really curious how is it like generally going to be used? Like, is it only going to be goals or something? So yeah, something to look forward to in Liga F this season.
Yeah, if you can watch the league, that is by paying 15 euros per month. Uh,
Yeah.
but yeah, I feel there is another thing which we were talking about before we started recording a couple of days ago, that Real Madrid TV will now showcase some of the replays
Hmm.
or like all the replays of our games uh, a couple of days later, I think, but
Yeah.
you can watch Real Madrid's game on Real Madrid TV a couple of days later if you want to watch the full length replay, which is an awesome thing. If you are like me, if you're like us, who have to go and rewatch stuff, and hopefully we'll get better games to rewatch. But yeah, it's great from the club as well to be showing that sort of importance to the women's side, and giving them their own space on the Real Madrid TV and showcasing full length games as well. So it's a positive sign, I
And
feel.
also a bit probably different commentary or no commentary at all. And like it's important to just not listen to the DAZN commentary again. If you
Um,
understand Spanish and listen to the Spanish commentary on DAZN, it doesn't. No, it's not good.
yeah.
No, just watching the games in a new light without the commentary or with another commentary with Arancha or whoever, definitely better. So you can watch the games on Real Madrid TV as well.
Yeah, so definitely something to look forward to. And up next, we have the Madrid Derby against Atletico Madrid, who, have been a little bit iffy last season, but their defense was really good. Uh, they had they had the best defense, I think. They had 18 clean sheets last season, did not concede much. Like obviously best was I think Barcelona, but the second best apart from Barcelona, I think they conceded very few goals. Lola Gallardo was once again brilliant last season. Their defense, their back four is quite good and very young. So, it's not gonna be easy. And if we stick with that false nine bullshit, I think it's gonna be even more difficult. So
Yeah.
let's see what Pau Quesada has in store for us in the second game. And we will be there breaking it down for you guys as always. And until then, Hala Madrid.
Hala Madrid.